In a remote forest there stands a mysterious mortuary. An old man named Montgomery Dark, as mysterious as the mortuary itself, resides there. The place is so eerie that even curious kids who dared to explore it got so frightened they left their camera behind today. The old man Montgomery delivered a eulogy at a funeral for a young boy named Logan. However, instead of comforting the grieving people, his words only added to their confusion. Later, a young woman named Sam arrived at the mortuary looking for a job as a housekeeper after seeing a job posting outside Montgomery's mortuary. Sam was taken to Montgomery's office to sign the employment contract, while admiring the antique collections and books there. According to the old man, every death has a story and a reason why people died. Since Sam was curious, she asked Montgomery to tell her the stories of the deceased. Feeling challenged, Montgomery began with the first horror tale. The first story was about a woman who was a pickpocket at a party, successfully tricking a womanizer. She sneaked into the restroom to stash her stolen money into her bra, feeling triumphant. She fixed her makeup in the mirror. But oddly enough, the mirror looked like a locked cabinet. Curious as she was, she struggled to open it. However, the cabinet turned out to contain a monster. The woman tried to escape, but her loot fell out, causing the monster to pull her into the cabinet. That was Montgomery's first story, which he claimed had a moral lesson. However, Sam wasn't fully satisfied, thinking the story seemed too fantastical. As they walked around the mortuary, Montgomery introduced Sam to the predecessors who had guarded the mortuary before him. Then Sam requested another story, one that would be better than the last. So here is Montgomery's second story, with the theme, Better Safe Than Sorry. The second story was about a handsome man named Jake at a university. Jake had a habit of educating women, especially his juniors, about the importance of using protection during intimate encounters. However, this was just a ploy to seduce women on campus. He even spread the ideology of women's freedom to engage in casual relationships. One day, Jake met his match when he encountered a beautiful woman named Sandra. He handed her a condom as part of his campaign for women's liberation and invited her to a party that night. Sandra showed up at the party, and Jake, being eager, quickly invited her to a private corner. However, during their encounter, Jake neglected to use protection, contradicting his own campaign the next morning. Jake woke up feeling unwell. He went to the doctor, only to discover that he was pregnant, stressed and in disbelief. Jake sought out Sandra at her home when he arrived. Sandra's parents were shocked to see him visibly pregnant. Sandra, however, seemed unbothered by the situation. She asked if Jake had used protection the night before, and when he admitted he hadn't, things took a turn. The baby in Jake's womb was ready to be born. Sandra's parents assisted in the delivery, but unfortunately, the baby emerged through Jake's private part, causing him to die on the spot. Sandra's parents then took the baby upstairs, revealing a nursery filled with other babies. Apparently the offspring of numerous men reported missing from the campus. The second story concluded with applause from Sam, who seemed very impressed with this tale, finding it full of moral lessons. Montgomery then took Sam to the morgue, where there was a female corpse wearing a wedding ring, engraved with the phrase, "Till death do us part." The old man explained that there was a story behind this ring, a story of a couple who faced lifelong trials in their marriage. Thus began the third story from Montgomery. It was about a couple, Wendell Owens and his wife Carol, who had recently married. What should have been a happy marriage turned into a test of Wendell's devotion. When his wife fell into a coma for years, Wendell cared for her through all seasons, until his patience was tested by despair. A doctor offered Wendell a way to end his wife's life without leaving any trace, suggesting he give her a particular drug, torn between love and desperation. Wendell finally decided to administer the drug during dinner. However, when his wife reached out to hold his hand, his resolve faltered, and he tried to help her vomit the poisoned food. Sadly, his wife's head fell onto the table, impaling her eye on a rabbit figurine Wendell had given her as a gift. Panicking, Wendell called the doctor for advice. The doctor advised him to dispose of his wife's body at sea, hoping it would be eaten by sharks, with no other options. Wendell dismembered his wife's body to fit it into their wedding chest. As he prepared to leave, his wife's corpse suddenly moved. But Wendell, already too deep into the situation, pushed the rabbit figurine deeper into her head, ensuring she was truly dead, without delay. Wendell took the chest, containing his wife's body, out of the apartment. However, the elevator suddenly malfunctioned, trapping him inside with the bloody remains of his wife. The elevator plunged into the basement, where it opened, revealing Wendell's wife's mutilated body emerging from the chest, embracing and kissing him. When the police opened the malfunctioning elevator, they found Wendell unconscious, resembling a madman lost in hallucinations. The third story ended with Wendell becoming a patient at a mental institution called Kirkdale. After the third story concluded, Sam admitted she found it somewhat disturbing. However, Montgomery asserted that everyone who commits wrongdoing eventually faces consequences. Then Montgomery led Sam to the cremation chamber, where he was about to cremate the body of the young boy Logan, whose funeral had taken place that morning. As he was about to place Logan's coffin into the flames, Sam suddenly stopped him, revealing that she had lied about seeking a job. She had come to the mortuary to confront Montgomery, claiming that Logan's death was connected to her. She also accused Montgomery of being wrong in his belief that evil deeds are always punished, insisting that in reality, evil often prevails. Sam then recounted the story of Logan's death to Montgomery, intending to prove her point in her tale. Sam had been babysitting Logan while his parents were away. She was enjoying the quiet night, cooking in the kitchen, unaware of a news report on TV about several patients who had escaped from a mental institution. After a power outage, among the escapes was a dangerous child-killing psychopath. A stranger arrived at Logan's house badly injured initially. Sam tried to help the man, but when Logan's parents called to warn her about the escaped psychopath, Sam panicked seeing the stranger in the house. She attacked him, trying to fend him off. However, she struggled and fell, but the stranger ran up upstairs in search of Logan, regaining consciousness. Sam pursued him, and another struggle ensued in Logan's room in the midst of the power outage and a raging storm. Sam fought with all her might, but she was eventually overpowered and strangled by the stranger. But just as the man began to speak, claiming he wasn't the killer, Sam pushed him down the stairs and killed him with a TV. Logan's parents arrived home, finding the stranger's corpse with a shattered face due to the TV. But then, the twist was revealed. The stranger was actually the real Sam, the true babysitter. The woman we had been following was, in fact, an escaped mental patient named Charlotte Gibbons. Charlotte was a notorious child-killing psychopath, known for extracting the teeth of her victims, earning her the nickname Tooth Fairy. Logan's parents were horrified to discover that their son had been roasted by the psychopath, and thus Sam's fourth story ended, leaving Montgomery deeply impressed. And she was the psychopath Charlotte. She came because she wanted to take Logan's teeth, and not wanting to be discovered, the old man was stabbed by Charlotte. However, panic struck when Charlotte realized that Montgomery wasn't dying. She tried to flee the mortuary, but as she reached the door, she fell under Montgomery's spell and was drawn back inside. It turned out that the Montgomery mortuary was not an ordinary house. Montgomery explained that he had once been just like Charlotte. He was cursed to be trapped in the morning Uary, as its eternal caretaker books began to fall from the shelves, unleashing a curse upon Charlotte, who met her end as punishment for her crimes against her victims. Her mutilated body was then stitched back together by Montgomery. Montgomery then stepped outside the mortuary, which had imprisoned him for so long. However, as he stepped out, his body began to age, rapidly disintegrating as he crossed the threshold. Suddenly, Charlotte awoke, now stitched back together, becoming the new caretaker of the mortuary in Montgomery's place. The scene then shifted to Charlotte, now reading a story to a child who in the beginning had left his camera at the mortuary, and the film ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.